A very warm good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhuri. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arun Foot. It is Sunday, the 25th of January, 2026, and it's another Indian football and more discussion. Sorry, I haven't been online the last couple of days. Was a little busy with Saraswati Puja and other things, so therefore I'm back tonight to talk Indian football and more. And yeah, it's been quite a bit happening in Indian football in the last few days, so it's quite an interesting time to talk about things. Today, officially, Pavana Conti has been announced as the India Under 17 international coach. We've seen yesterday the formal announcement that Owen Coyle has been reappointed head coach of Jamshedpur FC, while the twins Ayman and Azhar have left Kerala Blasters and are set to join their former head coach at SC Delhi, Thomas Schorsch. So quite a bit happening on those fronts. And if we look through the European leagues this evening as well, let me quickly go through them. What is all happening? And in the Premier League, Brentford lost 0-2 to Nottingham Forest, 3 big points after West Ham winning yesterday. Chelsea won 3-1 at Crystal Palace. They are now under pressure. We have Aston Villa winning 2-0 at Newcastle United. So Villa, same on points as Manchester City and Arsenal, play in a few minutes. Manchester United, so that could be an interesting one as well. While we have where are our international leagues? I wanted to check in La Liga. Uh, Atletico Madrid have won 3-0 against Mallorca. Barcelona are goalless against Real Oviedo. And in Germany, Borussia Mönchengladbach are losing 0-3 in the 91st minute against VfB Stuttgart. So those some of the things that are happening. And as always, as a request, who's still early in this video, like, share, subscribe, and spread the word about Iron Foot here on the net. I know sometimes when we speak a lot of Indian football, there isn't much interest, but I think that is very, very important, and yeah, and it is, of course, for me important that I try and grow, and as I've been saying in the last few days and weeks, do a little bit more of international football as well on the side. So therefore, that's something that I've been doing. So therefore, do support, and as always, thank you for your support. How was India started 22 World Cup cycle? We draw Qatar and a chance to win against Oman right there. What happened in Oman game? Um, yeah, what happened in the Oman game? Renal, very simply, at the time, yeah, we drew goalless in Qatar, which was a surprise, but that was after the Oman game. So Oman game, we scored a first half goal, um, and we had a Brandon corner, Sunil goal. Simple um, method from the training pitch, and then after about 70 minutes, India in charge and control were a better team. But then it looked like in the last 20 minutes, India looked tired, looked out of sorts, I would have felt. And that was utilized by Oman, who came back, scored 2 goals, won the tie, and the rest of the campaign is history um, due to COVID and other reasons. So therefore, yeah, it was a good opportunity. But that was the time we're speaking about September, October 2019, where a lot of things, let's see. So, do they celebrate Republic Day in Germany by Indians there? They say Arsenal fans, there are certain celebrations organized by the embassy in Berlin and by different consulates. I have actually an invitation tomorrow at the consulate in Frankfurt. I'm not sure if I can actually make it due to work commitments, but we'll decide in the first half of the day. And yeah, and so that is there. I'm not sure if people are privately celebrating as such, but yeah, those are sort of the formal celebrations that I see that are there for Republic Day. Well, Kerala Blasters signed a 22-year-old German youngster. He is ex-Frankfurt and Mainz graduate, only 22, even played in Germany 18, I think. Yeah, Renel. And I'll tell you a little bit about the boy. I had actually read up something earlier on about him. Found it very interesting that a player like that ends up in the Indian league, but seems like um where did it go? Where did it go? I had something. So therefore, yeah, can happen. Um Marlon Ross Trujillo, um interesting profile, but again, there seems to be something missing. I'm not sure what. Um, because he was, as a youth player, a regular youth international for Germany, and this shows you, Renal. We talk about about careers and other things. I mean, it's an interesting example that a regular in the youth Bundesliga, especially under 17s and under 19s, he actually made it to the Regionalliga Südwest, which is like the fourth division. Um, but then doesn't make it in Mainz and then moves to a club in Croatia in the second tier. He's a German and a Colombian citizen, and yeah, and someone who's played for the under 16s, under 17s in Germany, but then doesn't make the cut. And he left NK Vukovar in Croatia after a little over 2 seasons, and was without a club since end of August, and now joins the Blasters. Um, really interested to see how he does, because his profile up to the age of 17, 18, 19, even 19 would have been top level as a youth player, but for some reason or the other did make the cut, took the sort of say easy way out, went to Croatia, tried his luck there. One of those players, interesting, with normally these kind of players then move down divisions. If they've played fourth tier, they would maybe go to the fifth or maybe go to the sixth. And he takes another route, a totally different route. And yeah, and that would be, it's an interesting one again, to see how a player like that ends up on Indian shores. And yeah, so therefore, he is now part of the Kerala Blasters FC setup, and I hope that um, I hope Marlon can showcase himself and resurrect his career. The majority of Bayern fans hate Uli Hoeneß a lot. Why so? Is he really corrupt or bad? Manuel, who's telling you that? I don't know who's telling you that. I think, first of all, having worked at Bayern Munich and knowing Uli Hoeneß, he's not corrupt in a Bayern Munich sense. Yes, he had some tax issues and different things and blah, blah. And he's not bad. I think Bayern Munich would not be the club that it is, what he's done for the club for the last 40 years. So therefore, for me, um, he is instrumental in what Bayern Munich has become today. Without him, it wouldn't be there where it is. Do you see an importance is RFCL tournament, or what will be your inputs you will given them to make this tournament to reach more heights? Then you can always make it better, and that's you know what was good yesterday might not be good today and might not be good tomorrow, right? So therefore, but if it's good, even if it's good, um, you know, and so therefore for me, um, yeah, it's done some good work, but it can do even better. Can you tell us your insights on Nico Schlotterbeck to Bayern transfer rumors? Manveer, Nico Schlotterbeck is being linked to multiple clubs. He's been linked to not only Bayern, but he's linked to Real Madrid, to Barca, to the usual suspects in England who are looking for a potential centre back. So therefore, Borussia Dortmund has now made him a big offer to be the highest paid player, to be the captain. So there's a lack of clarity on that. So we'll have to wait and see what Nico Schlotterbeck for himself decides what he wants to do. I think that's the question Nico Schlotterbeck needs to answer, and then we'll see that he is someone with huge potential. I think is a given. I think that and left-footed centre back. which is also, I think, an added bonus. So one has to wait and see what Nico really does in the end. But he has options, and we'll have to wait and see. Now, people here thinks that if there are 10,000 kids play soccer, everyone will make pro. I've seen kids saying that if they were born in Europe or Brazil, they would be world beaters. The level of delusion. Renal, if even one of them makes it, if you say you've got 10,000 kids playing football, and even one of them makes it, is a, you know, is it depends on factors, right? I was seeing today a picture of, and I think it was under eights of Chelsea, right, which had um, Reece James, Conor Gallagher, as well as Mark Gahey in it, right? So that under eight of Chelsea having three guys who went on to become professionals to be part of a FIFA under 17 World Cup winning squad in India in 2017 is, in my opinion, a huge exception, right? So therefore, we need to be very, very clear on that, that these things are not normal, right? Some people will tell you, oh, it's normal that this, that, everything. No, it's not normal. It's something extraordinary. And therefore, it is always, yeah, it's always very easy for people to say this, that, everything, and then, tell you that it's easy, or you can try and get something out of it. No, it doesn't work that way, right? So for me, that's never an option in my opinion. um there's a lot of luck factor involved to be able to become a professional footballer, right? If you or I like it or not, that is one of those realities of things. If you want to be, not only want to be, if you can be, so let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. Hoping that East Bengal get either of Vikram Pratap or Isaac as summer field, Irfan or Jerry aren't worth it, I guess. Yash, again, East Bengal seems to be targeting a lot of players, Indians and foreigners. The question is, who can they sign in the end? Right? Is who is on the market? Again, they thought that they're going to get better ideas, which didn't seem to be the case. But again, I'm not ruling out anything. If East Bengal in the next 5-6 days get desperate, they might be throwing money at other opponents to try and get the players that they want. It seems to be that they're not getting their options A, B, and C, and then they're going down to the DE route. So therefore, for me, yeah, it's let's wait and see. But you're talking about options. I think all of them are options. What they're looking for, I don't even know if they need a winger, right? Which means then the so-called PV Vishnus and others that are being hyped, and I question that. A couple of years back, I got a lot of hate from East Bengal fans for that. Shayan Banerjee is now playing Santosh Trophy for Bengal, right? And they were making Shayan Banerjee look like he's going to be the next player in the national team. I think that's the question, and therefore, again, even also the players. Yes, it's about money, and especially after what's been happening in the last 6, 7, 8 months. But you have to be wise if you're going to East Bengal with all the players that are available. Are you going to get time? I think if I'm looking at this lot, I would think that Isaac Ralte is technically the most talented, and if I'm looking at Vikram is the fighter, and Jerry M is the most experienced of the lot, because Jerry is um, yeah, similar to Jangte, so to say. So and the question is, what is Odisha going to do, right? What is Odisha going to do? Isaac and Jerry in the squad. Chennai is also not clear. Mumbai looks to be okay at the moment because they've kept the players. Um, right. So therefore, the next, no, what's the next week till next Sunday? I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Your prediction: Arsenal versus Manu, 3-0. Arsenal 3-0 Manu. This Arsenal fan, I guess, if you have an Arsenal logo in your uh, bio here on YouTube, I guess you are going to be, uh, 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 you know, uh, um, and yeah, I think for the Premier League, it would be interesting if Arsenal actually lose, and if Manu can beat Man City, why not beat Arsenal as well? But let's see. I think the most likely outcome is a draw, but I might be wrong in that. Let's wait and see what happens. Dada, how do you rate a 48-team World Cup? Would you prefer to stay with 32 teams or goes with 48? Then there are two sides of the story. If I want better competitions, because if the reality, if you look at the realities of the World Cup, there have been upsets even in a 32 Team World Cup in the group stage, but the real action starts in the knockouts, maybe even the quarterfinals. So from that perspective, I would always say, that if you ask me from that perspective, I would always say that it is interesting to have, an um, um, for me, um, it's a question of how do you um, analyze that. So for me, a bigger World Cup doesn't mean it will be more quality, but it gives chances. Again, we've had already a lot of these stories where we've had um, Cape Verde, Uzbekistan, Jordan, Curacao, all of them qualifying. And if you ask me, that already is a great story. But will these groups, if you look at the groups, there's maybe one or two groups where you would say, okay, it sounds interesting and it might be, something might be possible. Um, but I've seen that in a lot of groups that the competition is not really there. So therefore it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. But again, um, I would have hoped again a bigger World Cup is an opportunity also for India to get closer. I would have said before 3 4 years ago, I would have said 48 World Cup. Okay, maybe top eight, top nine in Asia sounds tough, but you know, I guess we can maybe be one of the fluke qualifiers. But let's wait and see what happens. Allianz Arena is such a gorgeous stadium, especially during UCL nights. I want to be there, Mia San Mia. But yeah, it's a great venue, not only on UCL nights. I will always remember the World Cup in 2006 in the stadium, or generally Germany matches. So yeah, it's a lovely venue, and for me, it's always a fun venue to watch matches. And yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Um, you know, I think Bayern Munich are always selling out their stadium. I think they would love to expand it, but they're not allowed to. I think they it was originally for 70,000, it had been expanded to 75,000, and that, let's see if anything happens on that. East Bengal won against Mohun Bagan Super Giant today. Yeah, in RFDL. Ranjal, hello, Arunava, following mini football in your streams for 1 week from India. Roshan, enjoy the motherland, enjoy India. Good to hear. And you're out of the cold European German weather. So enjoy yourself with that. I feel like every team is underperforming this season in EPL except Arsenal. Pranjal, I'll be brutal. I think forget the Premier League. I think generally is I have a feeling that the quality at the moment is stagnant or dropping in football generally, and also in European international football, and that is showcasing itself, right? So to me, um, that's a challenge. That's a huge challenge, and that will be interesting to see how they can sort of get the standard, the level of football up, right? City. I mean, I did that video on Pep Guardiola, and if his time is up at City, which I feel it is most probably, if not now, maybe in the summer. But the question now is, look at Liverpool, look at Man United. If they can, I mean, if United win by any chance today, they would be top four. And the season that United have had, the head coach gone. United being top four in the Premier League does not speak for the Premier League, right? Other leagues have those issues as well, right? If you look at Real Madrid and the mess that Real Madrid is in, coach also fired, but hey, they're still easily second in La Liga. Doesn't speak for them. Look at Bayern Munich in Europe, of course. Bayern Munich in Germany. This weekend they lost for the first time this season, first time since March 25. But yeah, they've been cruising in the Bundesliga. So therefore, these are all very interesting examples of things. And so therefore, yeah, there is. And Arsenal, yeah, I think consistency, a word which I also love in the context of Indian football. When we talk about consistency, it's always a challenge, and you're not getting there. So therefore, from that perspective, I think consistency is very, very important, and for the teams, for them, and yeah, it looks like that Arsenal are in a good position. But again, today I think is very, very important that if Man United can get a result, at least get a draw, and they cut it down against a five, then you might have a little bit of a race in the Premier League in the coming weeks and months. Who are your favorites for the 2026 World Cup? Mine are France, Argentina, England, Brazil. For Darkos, I'm going to go Uzbekistan. Manvir, I don't know where Uzbekistan comes into the conversation. I don't know how, but I wish Uzbekistan all the best. But again, for them, it's about getting any result in the World Cup. For me, the top favorites are France and Spain. I mean, my top favorites are Spain ahead of France, I would say. And then there is a group of teams which includes Argentina, England, I think Germany as well. I don't know. Has Brazil sorted out this mess under Ancelotti? I'm not sure if they have. And my wild guess of a dark horse will be Norway. With Holland, with Odegaard, um, they are they are an interesting team, and I feel some African team might be the surprise. I don't know if it's again going to be Morocco. Um, might it be Senegal? So there are some options, and we'll have to wait and see what the teams do. But to me, if you ask me, it is normally going to be the usual suspects who I think will do well in a World Cup, and that's these days given. I think that's a given at the moment, and therefore let's wait and see what the teams do. But to me, it will be very interesting to see. And yeah, yeah, Norway, a wonderful shot. Holland is best striker for me. Holland, Mbappe, it's amongst them. I mean, even in a bad season, Kylian Mbappe is doing so well for Real Madrid. So let's see what happens. And yeah, will be very interesting. Very, very interesting. And meanwhile, Barcelona are leading 2-0 against Real Oviedo. Dani Olmo in the 52nd and Rafinha in the 57th minute. Gladbach lost 0-3 to Stuttgart in Germany. And of course, Arsenal against Manu is on, and Arsenal are attacking at the moment. And therefore, yeah, let's wait and see what happens over there. Right. Do you see the new qualifying process for the AFC Asian Cup under 17? No, if I'm honest, I don't know what is the new format. Have they announced something? Let me see. Have the AFC announced something? 1 second. Yeah, okay. 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, sorry. I've seen the press release. I haven't read it so far. So AFC U17 Asian Cup qualifiers format specific to the AFC U17 Asian Cup. The committee agreed to mandate the confederations regional organizations to organize their own qualifying competitions as the pathway to the finals effective from the AFC U17 Asian Cup 2028 qualifiers to be held in 2027 following an analysis of performance level across the AFC Asian Cup, AFC U7 Asian Cup, and AFC U16 Championship, which have shown consistent growth. They're going to approve a new transparent slot allocation system for each zone. Slot allocation will be split equally with the East and ASEAN, and West, which includes Central, South, and West. Each region received 50% of the 16 available slot based on its historical performance. Exact breakdown is ASEAN 4, East 4, West 4, Central 3, South 1. Under this proposal, the finals host would receive automatic qualification as one of the slots assigned to its respective zone, with no other teams receiving automatic entry. To align with the competition's calendar, regional associations shall utilize one of the two windows which have been established from January to February for finals to be the first half of the same year, and from July to October for finals the following year. Interesting. And so that's interesting. Pranjal, that it means that South Asia will have will have an own slot, and yeah, and that for India means that the under 17 SAF will become more important. So the under 17 SAF championship, that's the tournament for India to win, and to ensure its qualification for the now yearly AFC under 17 Asian Cup. So that's going to be very, very important for us from that point. Are you going to US for World Cup? No, Mike. At the moment, no plans given the realities of what's happening in the US and what the US it's better not to think about it. And yeah, Barcelona Academy is saving them for so long, both financially and gameplay wise. Yeah, but I mean, gameplay wise, I think it's very clear that it is the way it has been, right? Because that's what Barcelona stands for. That's the football that FC Barcelona plays. So that's clear. And yes, of course, yeah, Barcelona is one of the best performing academies in the world. So therefore, from that perspective, it's been helping the Football Club Barcelona quite a lot as well. 2 goals in 5 minutes. Yes, Mayank, that's how football sometimes works, right? With quick goals and um, whatever needs to happen. So from that perspective, right, and it is one of those things that that again you're hosting the bottom team in the table, and you're hoping that you're going to get a result out of it, and um, but that's football for you, and yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Basically, India Bangladesh is almost guaranteed a slot. I don't know, Pranjal, if India or Bangladesh. I think it will depend on the the under 17 setups of the respective countries. What are you producing every year? Right. So from that perspective, India is going to go in as the usual favorites. Yes, Bangladesh would be considered a close number two. And then there would be the freak year where maybe a Nepal or maybe even a Sri Lanka, depending on what they're going to do, can. And of course, also if Pakistan gets some of their players of origin at under 17 level, could be impacting as well. So therefore, interesting to see. And for in India, for forget India, for South Asia, it's an important thing that it will give us some space at the continental level with an opportunity to move on and get into a World Cup. So from that perspective, I think for India, it's a big chance, big opportunity, and hopefully India is able to use it. So that's going to be a very very important one for us to look at down the road with that under 17 format. And um, with that also, let me look at the um, under 20 format, which has also been reviewed by the AFC, and they've done it a little different. Um, they said supplementing a new format comprising a two-phase system in brackets subject to the final entry status, featuring a promotion and a relegation mechanism will be introduced. This restructure aims to bridge the technical gap whilst meeting the different needs of PMAs at various stages of development. This phase, the qualification phase, consists of 32 teams divided into 8 groups of 4, with the group winner and the best 7 second-place teams advancing to the finals to maintain high competitive standards. The bottom teams will be relegated to the development phase of the subsequent edition. The development accommodation a maximum of 14 teams in the development phase across 3 groups. Top performing teams will earn promotion to the qualification phase for the next cycle. The primary focus of this phase is to facilitate technical development and provide essential tournament experience. Um, Key features of this proposal include using the current draw seeding for the AFC U20 Asian Cup qualifiers as the initial baseline for the first edition, 2027, with subsequent seedings determined by the new promotional relegation results. The existing single round match format and hosting conditions will be maintained, ensuring that each match serves a purpose, whether for qualification, promotion, or ranking, and the finals host will continue to receive automatic qualification. So that's an interesting one. Um, yeah. So therefore, they are trying to integrate your regional competitions into your Asian competitions. So therefore, that's an interesting step that the AFC seems to be taking at the moment. Do you have any information in BMW having girls football project in Delhi at Khel Me Foundation? No, Roshan. Hearing this the first time. I've never heard about this. Sorry. No, I've never heard about it. Hi, Utsav. I'm surprised with the level of interest for broadcasting for as I thought no one would produce it. Utsav, the pre-bid interest. Look at last time around, you had also four different entities showing um, interest in the pre-bid phase, right? So therefore, um, that you have Sony, that you have fan code in there, that you have Z now also showing an interest is interesting. You know, so therefore for me, that means nothing to be talking about things at the moment. Um, so therefore for me, you know, and I tweeted about it day before. Also, the way I see it, right? I mean, I actually said, let me quote myself. What did I write? I wrote, ISL 2025-26 media rights pre-bid conference attendance of Sony Sports, Fan Code, Z Sports, and UK-based international media interested two circles. But as we know from the first bid process, attending such pre-bid meeting doesn't mean that anyone will bid for the rights. So therefore, these pre-bid meetings, again, if you're a media organization, you come and just listen and want to interact. What about the H-fraud issues that probably allegedly happens in SAF tournaments? That will have to to be tackled, right? Sprungel, yes, of course, it needs to be tackled. Forget in South Asia and Asia and the world. There are a lot of countries, and Arsenal with a free kick and header from Zubamendi, and Lammers with a great save. Could have been the lead for Arsenal. So therefore, yes, and H-fraud is something which needs to be tackled at a local level, which needs to be tackled at a regional level, which needs to be tackled at an international level. So therefore, yes, it is a problem in large parts of the world. Not It's not an Indian only problem or an Asian problem. It's, yeah, everywhere where the registration of kids or babies can be played around with, it is a topic. Do you think there is some serious interest in Bangladesh joining ASEAN? Saw some posts about it. My first thought was clickbait. Roshan, at the moment, it is clickbait, but it is something that will have to be discussed. Again, unlike in cricket, where India controls the International Cricket Council, it is a situation where I would always say, and to me, that if this situation continues, the question will be raised if India and Bangladesh can actually be playing in the same zone, right? India and Pakistan has always been an issue, but with India Bangladesh now becoming an issue, India and Nepal having certain issues, Sri Lanka, Maldives, there are a lot of questions, right? And as you know, and I know, around the world, sports has been politicized. Look, the whole mess that the FIFA World Cup finds itself in at the moment. So therefore, from that perspective, it is most probably clickbait at the moment, but it is at some stage this will become a topic of discussion for certain people, because the situation as it stands at this moment in time is very, very difficult for, be it for the AFC, be it for SAF as well. And yeah. Hey Raj, didn't got the notifications. So, again, I've heard this quite a number of times from people. Some people said, "Oh, I didn't know, and it happened by chance. You're live and all." No, to me, again, it is YouTube who does it or doesn't do it, and it seems like very often it doesn't do it. Sorry for that. I always say, maybe because I start at 9:45, maybe check at 8:30, 8:45, if I've scheduled a live or not. And normally I schedule, mm, you know 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours before a live something, and if not, yeah, let's see. New U17 women coach joined. Yes, Madame Conti has joined the India under 17s women. So let's wish her and hope all the best. And let's see what she can do with our under 17s. Man United versus Arsenal, who are you supporting today? Raj, no one actually. Not a fan of any of those two. If you would say, to support a team in the Premier League, then it was most probably would be Man City. I've done some work for the City Football Group, so I'm, you know, favorable to them. Let's put it this way. Something is off about this live tonight. By the way, in my mobile, it is showing I'm not a subscriber. Okay. If it is showing that you're not a subscriber, are you logged into your Google account? Pranjal? That would be my question. Maybe you are not logged. No, you have to be logged in to ask questions, right? Because I have. Wait 1 second. Yeah, you have to be logged in. I honestly don't know how the system in the back end works. As I say, guys, do me a favor, if you're not getting notifications, when you see a video, put out notifications or just check if you've got notifications for the channel on. And uh, you know to me, the problem is I can't influence that if it's sending out notifications or not. I do post it on my socials again, and that's what I'm saying. A request at 8:30, 8:45, maybe at 9 o'clock. Um, you know, so yeah, that's the thing. So do you think ISL clubs shutting down after getting relegated is relegation on this season? Tom, there's no clarity on that. The FF said that they need to be, you know, um, that they need to ask the Supreme Court about it. And at the moment, there is no clarity on the point. The clubs have clearly said in such a shortened season, they would not like to have relegation. But I think the question, forget the relegation question. I think the general question that is there at the moment is if the AFF contract, the 20-year contract remains the way it is, will the clubs in the next few months agree to play the league as per the AFF? Any news on commercial partner realistically? What is the point of view of AFF on how they're gonna generate money? What's the AFF view on generating money? I have no clue, Utsav, to be very, very honest to you. And um, so that's that. And commercial partner, there's nothing. Again, also, I don't get carried away. Um, you know, for me, commercial partner, as is a broadcast partner, is a difficult one. And the interesting one is that that supposedly Prasad Bharati and DD Sports are your best bet, but they didn't take part. So the question is, are they actually factually around or not? Do you think 20 years down the line viewership will increase? Oh, it's have no clue. Listen, we don't. I've said this multiple times. I don't even know what's going to happen next week. Indian football is in such a state flux. Um, so I don't know. I honestly don't know where we're heading. If Bangladesh or India leave SAF, when then it will become joke, no competition. Raj, the question is not about if, I mean, India is heart and soul of SAF. The question in Bangladesh is with due to the problems with India is can India and Bangladesh stay in the same zone? And it's and that is I think that's a very valid question that needs to be asked. So, if you see what has happened in cricket, and again, cricket is a different sport because cricket is controlled by India. Um, you know but again, AFC, FIFA don't care about these things. And they have matched up teams even in crisis against each other, and they've taken place. But the question is now is, if India hosts a competition, you know or Bangladesh hosts a competition, will the other country travel? At this moment in time, it doesn't work. So you should remove subs only chat option and start vertical live stream. Um, no, I think what's a subscription based chat option ensures a little level of quality and not, XYZ under some whatever account or not even registered account posts. So it gives us a little security in regard to that. We're having a little bit of a sane discussion here, and it also forces people to become members. I know it sounds weird, but again, this is how you also push membership. And vertical is something which, again, that's more Instagram like. I feel that this kind of a stream for me is cleaner and nicer, and easier to do, and again, and I don't think it will increase dramatically. I think we know who we are, who are following Indian football on a usual path. I know certain people have certain opinions about things and then follow those things. As I said, I do my things my way. Hopefully, I do it right. I try to do it right. Let's put it this way. And yeah, this is the way I do it. So, by the way, happy Boshantu Utsav. How was this time the puja there? You were the president of committee. Raj, thank you. Saraswati Puja was good. We had it yesterday, day before we got everything ready. And yeah, that's why the last 2 days, no lives here, and was enjoyable. As always, a lot of work. So maybe you see a little bit of tiredness in my face. Actually, I'm quite tired today, but it was fun. It was fun as always. A lot of people came, enjoyed, and that's great. Yes, I'm logged in my work because I'm actually got the notification. Okay, interesting. So that's what I'm saying. This is the weird one. I have no clue. Vertical stream doesn't look that professional, says Raj, has answered Utsav. Founder says, wow, the competition really in Liga as Barca fans so enjoyed today match when what I mean was an intense battle. Madrid, Barca, La Liga and table and just one win from useful knockouts for some Barca. Okay. Yeah, but if you're thinking that that's great competition to try and beat Oviedo, then I don't know if I'm sorry. If we're in the same discussion. Meanwhile, Barca leading 3-0 against Oviedo with Lamine Yamal. Again, that bicycle kick with the third. And Freiburg Cologne is 1-1 in the Bundesliga and still goalless in London. A very happy Pongal. I know it ends still happy, Lori, happy Republic Day advance. Big day for country tomorrow first after Operation Sindhu Shishwanatha. Happy in the Republic Day as well. Upcoming Republic Day, I should say. Does ever have a strong control on SAF if Bangladesh wants out? No. The SAF president is someone from Bangladesh. Shaji Prabhakaran is our member, and Shaji's relationship with the AIFF at the moment is non-existent. So the AIFF have no influence on SAF at all. So yeah, we haven't had that actually. That's an interesting one that we've had. Actually haven't had a SAF president in the last I don't know decades. I think. Um, I'm just thinking. Just thinking if we've had a SAF president in the recent past, and I'm not getting to that. 1 second, let me just check. Um, yeah, we've only had one SAF president, and that was PP Lakshmanan when it was founded in 1997. After that, it was Ganesh Thapar from 2001 and 2009. Qazi Salahuddin was there from 2009 till 2016. He was replaced for a short period of time by Ranjit Rodrigo in 2016, and Qazi Salahuddin is still the staff president. And that's a goal for Arsenal. 29th minute. Arsenal Football Club go ahead against Manchester United in the Premier League. Lisandro Martinez. Yeah, very important for Arsenal to keep up the pressure at the top of the table. Arteta, quite happy. Let me quickly get a sip. Sorry. Ah, nothing special. It's Zuckermandy through the legs of Lisandro Martinez. Yeah, as Arsenal scores. A little easy. I think it was Timber who scored for Arsenal. I mean, set as an own goal. So coming back to that discussion is the FF have no control, and yeah, will be very interesting to see. Oh, counter-attacking chance for Man United at the other end. Can they finish it off? Can they finish it off? And Bruno Fernandes puts it wide. We are better off if we play in ASEAN zone. Increased competition will improve our young players. Utsav, there is no India in an ASEAN zone. There is no India in CAFA. There is no India in West zone. Whatever we want to see, no one is taking us. You have to also remember these conversations. Bangladesh at least is neighboring. They will say to ASEAN, we are in the heart of SAF. If India is out of SAF, then SAF is tomorrow dead, right? So, and again, that is the question. The question is now, how much does politics influence the decisions in football. We've had last year the Indian women's under 19s, I think, under 20s, who didn't take part in a competition in Bangladesh. So that has happened. But to me, the question now is what happens next, right? So therefore, for me, there is no ASEAN for us. If this whole ASEAN thing that a lot of people have been talking about, I don't know for how many years, donkey's years, I would say, that hasn't happened, right? So therefore, it will not happen. Nobody's waiting for us, and yeah, you know, uh, because for us the competition will be better, but ASEAN will say, are we increasing the competition or would we dilute the competition? And secondly, do you really get involved in all of these things? I don't think that is something that is being looked at the moment, right? So therefore, for me, ASEAN, India, not happening. So therefore, yeah, that's something that is there, right? So therefore, for me, not even an opportunity in our wildest dreams. Again, anyone who says that, who talks about it, is, you know, delusional, la la land, as I always love to say. Right. Always a reminder: like, share, and subscribe. 8 likes so far, only, guys. Help the channel to grow. As always, without your help, your support, this cannot happen. And of course, share with other people. And we stand at 3,716 at this live today. Thank you very much, whoever's joined us new to our group of channel. And you know, and um, yeah, watch the short video contents that I've made. I've seen the views haven't been good over the last few weeks, but again, I need your support. Be it what I did about Pep yesterday, a chance for young Indian coaches with Naraj, with Renedy, with Clifford, Amelia Valverde, joining the Indian women's national team, about the ISL, Senegal, Morocco, other things, Bayern, Real Madrid. So look at the older videos. I think there's some interesting stuff in there as well. Can't we switch to other federation? No, what's up? There is no regional federation. We can. It's not our decision, you know. You know, and so therefore, yeah, therefore there is no option on that. It's you know, that's the thing. I mean, if Israel can play in UEFA instead of AFC, then why can't we? Utsav, what are you comparing with what? Historical context, issues here and there. Again, Israel at least is bordering on the Mediterranean to Europe, right? If you look at the map of Asia, you know, I've got a map over here. I'm looking at Asia. India is in the heart of Asia, right? India is not close to Oceania, or India is not close to Europe or Africa or North America, South America, right? Australia at least was or is bordering to Asia, right? So these things, why would someone take us? Is there a when the AFC took Australia on, and it was decided in 2005 that Australia would join the AFC, it was about um, it is about the quality of Australian football and the men's and women's game, commercial interests and other things. Where are those interests with Indian football? So none. We are a non-starter in football. As much as people will tell you, we are a non-starter in football. That's the problem of Indian football today, right? So therefore, yeah, the realities. Good evening, Aditya. Seems like a German has landed in the shores of Kochi. Perhaps you can double check. No, it has. Kerala Blasters have announced that they have made a signing of former German youth international in Marlon Ross Trujillo, 22-year-old Frankfurt-born attacking midfielder who has played in the youth for Eintracht Frankfurt and FSV Mainz 05, and then couldn't make it in Germany, went to the second tier of Croatian football, to NK Vukovar, was released in the summer, didn't have a club, and now has sort of joined the Blasters. Yeah, again, we'll see a lot of these um players most probably joining the Indian Super League in the coming weeks and months, and you know, who have not the capability or ability to make it elsewhere and then coming here, because yeah, it is. It is the way it is, so to say. Yeah. Are you involved in Women's Handball League announced by HI? No, Abhishek, I am not. A Blue Advanced Republic Day to you as well, and all the best wishes. Will ISL really start on 14th February? To me, if you ask me, mm, it's wishful thinking. Looking at the problems and issues, Akash, with different venues, and I mean, I've made the joke with Blue. Just had the comment above you that he should, once the official schedule is announced, how many changes will be there in those schedules? Because at the moment it looks, in my opinion, chaotic to say the least in regard to um, venue issues. Mumbai City have their issues. Chennai, and you've seen the condition of the ground, I guess. We've got elections in Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Assam coming up. Um, yeah, issues, and even some teams have gotten hold of their grounds, but still there are issues, and therefore for me, it is not and you know so let's wait and see what happens. You know, how is this Marlon guy? I'm genuinely interested now because he's youth. Kerala could do a madness with young blood. Aditya, no clue. If you had asked me about him 4 years ago, he was a German under 16, under 17 international, right? So he was surely one of the you know, top 100 kids in Germany overall in his age group. But if I look at it now, um, that he didn't make it at Mainz, did play in the Regionalliga in the fourth division, but couldn't make it. Then goes off to Croatia, which is a weird one to say the least. Um, but yeah, to me, difficult to judge. But normally as an attacking midfielder, he should have some quality because again, he's come through the youth system at Eintracht Frankfurt and at Mainz 05. So as I say, he should have some quality, which should be better than you know, you know. Not many times young bloods that too from India decide to come here. Adit- Aditya is not coming there because he hasn't had a club since last summer. So don't forget it. He's a free agent, and I don't know what state he is in. You know, so yeah. Logistical nightmare. So many flights booked in a short period of time. Akash, logistical disaster. Flights, hotels, this, that. As I say, you've got elections. This thing. All of this is, and Man United equalize. Mbomo, 37th minute mistake from Arsenal, and Manchester United are back. It's 1-1 Arsenal United. So therefore, Akash, if you're asking me, whoever has to run this ISL, whoever will be league commissioner, it is a disaster because, you know, yeah, there's a lot of issues. And the grounds, none of the grounds have actually been maintained properly since April last year. So the reality is that wherever we stand, that these things are real issues, real problems. And the question is, can these issues and problems be solved? And yeah, and I have certain doubts. So therefore, that's the thing. Whatever. Hey, Ochut, this venue and scheduling looks very similar to NFL and I League days. Fixtures used to change. Really. Yeah, Ochut. I mean, I've jokingly said to Blue, you are our manager. You asked the question. You were the first to ask the question about the scheduling. So you're the manager of any change which is made, and so we'll keep a track of how many changes are made to the schedule. Any idea about Pamela Conti? Achut, what I've heard, again, interesting CV. But again, like, Italy, Venezuela, and India, um, it's the same about Amelia Valverde. India is an own beast. So let's wait and see what happens if they can actually. So would you say the same for Kazakhstan? If we can play a few, we pay few crores, we can switch to other zones. What's up again? How do you know that it was about money? If you look at the map, right? Kazakhstan is bordering to whom? To Russia, right? So they are on the border of Europe. So right, and if you say geography is not is not the issue in my opinion, again, sorry, then your opinion is wrong, right? India's no bordering no one, no one. I just hope the league either happen or somehow or don't happen at all. If it gets stopped in between, that would be next level disaster. Blue, anything is possible. I am not at all going into anything with any hopes and any ideas. Um, right. So to me, yeah, it is. It is. Let's wait and see what happens and when, and then we'll. It is a mess. It was a mess. It is a mess, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Even serial level, yeah, but what's up? You can play X, you can play Y, but if you're in the middle of a continent, you're not going to decide on where you're going, right? Again, you are wasting this. This is a discussion which is a non-starter. You are spending time thinking about something which is not. This is I tell this to all people who come. India's leaving SAF, right? You're wasting your time. You are actually factually wasting not only your time but everybody else who are you're involving in this discussion because India's not leaving SAF. India's only leaving SAF if SAF is going to get dissolved. Otherwise, India is the core element on this. If India politically issues are left and right, the smaller ones will be moved around. India is not a priority for world football or Asian football. We are a non-starter of an entity. I think that is sad and hard, but that is one reality that Indian football fans need to accept and realize. It is brutal, but we are at the moment a non-starter in football. Nobody needs us. Nobody wants us. Sorry, but that's the reality and has to be said. I mean, whatever it may be, he may not be good there, but I think he would be good impact magnificent here. He would play for Kerala as long as they could bank him. After that, he's going to Indonesia. Aditya, there are a lot of things of why a player coming, you know, um, a player like that could fail at Blasters, right? On again, on what we're talking about at the moment, you're talking in theory, right? He might not be adopting to Indian conditions. The weather might be too hot. He might not be, having issues, problems with the weather, with the food, with whatever. Right. I wish for him that he does well. Right, for himself, for the Blasters, for Indo-German football as well. But it is not a given that he'll be successful. So, again, my prediction. Yeah, let's wait and see. Uh, and the way domestic flights get delayed and cancelled these days, you can't plan for things. Which that is it. That's of course an issue. My bigger problem is not the scheduling of the flights. My question is getting group tickets of 40 people or more. Right? That's your real challenge. Your real challenge isn't about the delays. Delays will happen, and then you get rebooked here, you get rebooked there, or whatever. But your real problem is, are you going to be able to get group bookings of 35, 40 people that are now part of a traveling group, right? So therefore, those would be, if I'm looking at logistics, that would be my bigger problem, my bigger issue with whatever is happening, and that's the challenge. That's that again, as I say again and again and again, there are lots of challenges around the Indian Super League, and that will be very interesting to see how you, as the league, as clubs, sort these issues one by one. There are too many issues to be discussed, which are there, and that will be very interesting. And yeah, it's not easy. In my opinion, it's not easy to say, this can be, this can't be. And there will be days where teams will be traveling instead of 2.5 hours per flight, they'll be traveling 4, 5, 6 indirect flights. All those things will happen. Hotel bookings will be an issue. It's not easy. And of course, we're moving into the summer months. And I said, elections, elections, elections. That's something which, because Indian elections are announced at relatively, in my opinion, relatively short notice. I already know in the normal cycle when the next elections at state level, at local level, even at national level will take place here in Germany in the next cycle. So that's another thing. India is SAF if anyone can count numbers. Blue, again, you're having a laugh, and again, I don't have a laugh anymore because I'm actually fed up of this question, and people are trying to reason again. Um, so it makes no sense. The South Asian Football Confederation, we are a key part of it. We've had partnerships here or there. We've gone to competitions. Others have gone to competitions outside of the South region. But if there is a realignment happening, that is going to be from the AFC. If tomorrow the AFF go to AFC and say, hey, listen, we want to leave SAF, the AFC will ask, send you back, thank you very much. We've noted this, but there's not going to be any change. I can write you the letter if you want to. So therefore, it's not worth, sorry, it's earlier, but it's not worth the conversation. Roshan says cultural issues and climate issues can be big showstopper for German players, and Marlon through Rio is still young. Today I saw quotes from James why it didn't work out in Qatar. Or James, sorry, not James, James. You mean James Rodriguez, why it didn't work out in Qatar. Yeah, again, Roshan will understand it. I mean, if you ask Roshan to run tomorrow and play football in Kerala, he will know, right? So it's different. It's totally different. I mean, I've played five-a-side, seven-a-side in places like Kolkata or Mumbai, and it's not right. It's and therefore yeah, this is something um, which is an issue and which remains an issue, and therefore for me it's not an easy one. The player was, I say was, very, very talented at youth level. But again, we started today's shows about talking about, talent and this and that and everything. Again, he didn't make it in the end, right? He didn't make it. Um, he to me shows a typical career, who would have gone down to the fifth tier Oberliga or Landesliga sixth tier after a certain period of time. He didn't do that, and therefore for me, and so therefore, yeah, let's see if Marlon can make it at the Blasters. Interesting transfer. Let's see what he does. Is the schedule out? No. So I've not seen any schedule so far. I think the problem remains with the grounds. The grounds remain the problem. Can certain teams get their grounds ready? I know Mumbai City, for example, is trying very, very hard to try to play at the Mumbai Football Arena. But again, Mumbai City, as I know from my own experience, has access to a lot of good groundsmen, ground experts in Mumbai who could maybe do something. Let's see if they can pull that off. Chennai is still struggling with their grounds. The Blasters, I don't even know if Calicut has been confirmed or not. Let's see, and that's the thing. Maybe we can see half of team going through flights, some by train in closer cities, some through other way, something like the athletes in India do if they can't sort things out. Yeah, blue might happen. I might be splitting. I don't even think splitting between flights and train will be an option. I think they might have again. They travel to Jamshedpur between Jamshedpur and Kolkata, for example, by train, right, or by bus, right. So those, there, for example, Kolkata Jamshedpur might be an option to say, listen, guys, you know what? Instead of traveling by train, which I feel is more comfortable than the bus, but we'll take the bus. But in other cases, they might be splitting groups of 2020 or 22 to 18 or whatever to on separate flights. Might be. The AFF have a special deal with Indigo in place. I know certain teams had special deals with Indigo or with another airline in place. So therefore they will try and work out other things. But yeah, again, this year everything is possible. The other concern is the lack of visible activity and communication after that February 14th announcement. Are the clubs getting informed in the background, or is it the fans who don't have latest info? Before we get to that, halftime, Arsenal, Manchester United. It is 1-1 at the Emirates. To me, Ochut, there is communication happening between the AFF and the clubs. So that's a given now. But the problem that there is, of course, is that the clubs are also getting back to the AFF and telling, hey, listen, I've got a problem here, I've got a problem there, I've got this, I've got that problem. So there are a lot of things which are not sort of getting sorted at the moment. I think that's the big issue and the big problem. And therefore, for me, it is interesting to see how these issues and problems get solved or sorted, because at the end of the day, as things stand at this moment in time. Um, we talk again and again and again and again about the grounds, and that's your biggest concern at this moment in time. It's your biggest concern are the grounds, and if you don't sort out the grounds, everything else is going to suffer. And but we're seeing teams now getting active in the transfer market. I was also surprised in the signing of the Blasters of Marlon Trujillo, because it looked like in the last few weeks that the Blasters might go all Indian. So that's also a positive sign that the Blasters, and yeah. So therefore, yeah, it's very difficult. The problem is that there are basic issues which are not getting solved. Um, so therefore, yeah, it will be interesting to see. Very, very interesting to see what happens with the ISL in the coming days and week. And what one thing which I haven't heard about anything, I don't know if you've seen or heard anything about. Again, I was busy with Chaudhuri Puja over the last 2 days. Is the topic of I League. Where do we stand on that? I haven't heard anything. So that's that as well. He can become the next Savio, say Rico, if you remember that guy. Yeah, 1860, I think. Um, so therefore, for me, yeah, he could become a journeyman. And again, as I'm surprised, normally these kind of players stay in Germany, go to the lower leagues, either do some sort of education or pick up a job, and then so therefore these are some of the realities that we are in at the moment, and it doesn't seem to get better, right? So therefore, yeah, it's an interesting scenario, and it will be interesting to see what happens in the coming days and weeks, because it is yeah, it is the way it is, and it's at the moment not getting any easier or better, so to say. And at the moment it is the way it is, and yeah, very, very difficult for these kind of players. If they once don't make it at the top, they fall through the cracks of the system, and then when you fall through the cracks of the system, it becomes a brutal reality check for them. But yeah, so therefore that's something which is there, and um very, very interesting to see what happens in the coming days and weeks. Is Jalen the only option for Chennai FC for Blasters? Is the color card venue confirmed? What should Chennai either play there again? Goa seems to be an option in regard to as being a B venue for a number of teams, so that's been discussed. And on the other side, it seems like for the Blasters, Calicut is the only option, because the Nehru Stadium in Kochi remains an issue, because this reporters, whatever it was called reporter something, no? Who was supposed to host the Argentina match in November in Kochi, have literally left a damaged stadium behind in at the Nehru Stadium. So that's it. And Calicut, of course, had a ground issue. I don't know if how they're going to tackle it. Let's see. I hope to speak to a few people over the next week, do a few interviews to get a little bit more insights. Let's see if the guys, the CEOs and others, are actually now open to talking about things when we're coming closer to the league. So therefore, I'm trying to do some of these stuff. So I don't know. I League, eerie silence, says Uchud. Yes, Uchud, that's I've again, another thing. Where are they all? And Bruce says, is where are the noisy I League clubs? Haven't heard after their childish 3 crore offered to AFF. And again, Blue, and this shows you, and this is the brutal reality that I think that we have learned over the last few days and weeks, in regard to forget I League and ISL as well, that a lot of these teams are in a situation where we need to talk about, hey guys, where are we? How are we positioned? What is happening? What's not happening? And yeah, for me, it's an interesting scenario, and it'll be very, very interesting to see how how we can um, see both the ISL and I League this season. I mean, it's so confusing at this moment in time. I don't know where to start or to end, and yeah, it's the way it is. It is the way it is, and therefore, for me, it is a very interesting scenario regarding the league, and um, yeah, it's going to be um, I mean, very interesting to see where yeah, where are we going with this? And the clubs are trying their bit. I realize that the clubs are trying their bit to see what they can do, what they can get out of this. But it's a mess. It's a complete mess, and it is nobody else than the AIFF to be blamed for this situation in Indian football. And yeah, it's I just say it's sad, and it's yeah. Are we getting any four-camera production, etc., or will some guy will take video and upload on YouTube channel of AFF? Oh, Blue, that's brutal. That's brutal. That's trolling, I would say, from from that perspective, because they have at least earmarked, right, 9 crores to spend on TV production, right? So if that is confirmed, they will have, 10 lakhs, approximately 10 lakhs a game is at least a little something. But is it going to get us the quality that we are used to? That's the problem, right? So to me, that is the conversation that and we need to have. To me, that hasn't been sorted, that hasn't been solved. But if you ask me, very simply at this stage, um, I don't know where we're heading with this, right? It is the most difficult of all questions to answer. Is there an answer to your question? And to me, there isn't an answer. To me, there is no answer to your question, because all of this, again, that's what I'm saying when we speak about last season or the last 11 years of the Indian Super League, none of these basic questions in regard to organizing a game, TV production, travel, venue bookings, this and none of these things were discussed. I guess you as football fans would have not bothered, except in once in a while when they clashed with something, like matches in Kolkata around Durga Puja and Lakshmi Puja, right? So if that doesn't happen or didn't happen, we were not bothering about these things. It was happening, and again, and that's the thing, um, you know, and let's see. The FF managing with four companies, was that for production or broadcast or both? Sorry, Uchut, I know you are shortening the words. Could you write it out and then write it back to me? Because I'm a little confused if I understood your question. Uh, Acha, meeting. Sorry, meeting. Now I get it. Okay. AFF meeting with four companies. Was it for production or broadcast or both? Listen, Uchut, the four companies who came, they all came with a clean slate to the AFF. The only one who's been there in one and two, again, original tender bid, and now is Fanport. And those companies wanted to listen to the AFF, right? What do you want from us? The reality is, none of them do production, right? Production in an Indian context, forget football, but in a context of even the leagues and cricket and international matches, whatever, is done by a third party. So production normally, again, even in the ISL days, Star or Sports 18 was your broadcaster, and the production was being done by IMG Reliance, or by uh, mm, Rise towards the end. And that product was being put on television either by Star Sports, by Sports 18, and then Star Sports again, or on Geo and then Geo Hotstar. So therefore, for me, um, right, uh, those are some of the things that have happened, and yeah, very basic in my opinion. And but again, is it you know um, will they actually be interested to broadcast the league? Yeah, they would be, most probably, right? Sony will tell you, oh, you know what, pay me XYZ. I'll put it online. Z is back in the picture because they've been doing the Bengal Super League, amongst other things, and have done other few football projects. Um, they're there. Two Circles is an interesting one where I would love to find out why they're suddenly in the game in this, or are they just exploring India matters, as a lot of agencies do. And then Fancode has shown interested to be an OTT platform, but Fancode doesn't do production. Fancode just puts something onto their platform. Um, you know, so that's the reality. That's the reality of the production. It's like Sportsworks does everything for the SAF region, right? Delhi-based company Sportsworks does all the production for SAF across all venues. You have other production partners who've done I League, this, that, everything for whoever. So why don't we increase our ticket prices to 3 to 5K and OTT subsidy to 400 for ISL? Utsav, nobody will come. Indian football fans for an OTT are not willing to pay 19 or 25 rupees for an India match or for ISL or for whatever, AFC, Champions League 2 and whatever. And you're coming with 400, 500, what? And 3 to 5K tickets. Listen, people are not willing to pay 100 rupees for a ticket. If there was a demand, you could push up those prices higher. Nobody's going to pay for this, right? This is not doable. Why all clubs are working on non-profitable model, I think, Utsav, because Utsav, your profits come in around the world in sports from television rights, because television broadcasters pay you XYZ, and with that money, the league becomes profitable and the clubs become profitable. In India, it's a big zero. Even those conversations, 270 crores being put in. No, it was a big zero because Star was putting it from Reliance was putting it from one pocket to another pocket because they wanted to push the price of the product. The price of the product is zero. This is also something which I've seen a lot of people don't seem to understand. The price of the Indian football media product is zero. In the I League last season, they paid Sony to put it on their channel. 2.5 crores was paid to Sony to say, hey, could you please broadcast this? And Sony did minimal to no promotion of that product. Realities. Brutal, but they are. Now I remember different company used to produce the CFL matches while Bengali TV channels broadcast them. Yes, it was very often the same company who used to produce it in the the same company produced it, but it was being broadcast on different channels. Yeah, very true. What do you think of Delhi signing the Twins? KBFC, K5C. Ayman Azhar. I thought always a success story. Ayman, of course, more successful than his twin Azhar. Rejoining Thomas Schorsch, who was one of their biggest promoters, at the Blasters reserves and even in the first team when he was there. It's an interesting signing, but these kind of players, and this is an interesting part that we've seen with a lot of them, right? Now they need to take the next step. They need to move up because now they're moving out of Kerala, they're moving out of the Blasters, they're moving out of their sort of family space. And both the boys, Ayman and Azhar, as I say, I regard Ayman a little bit more talented than Azhar. Maybe I might be proved wrong in the future, but both of them went to step up. But again, under Thomas Schorsch, they have a coach who knows them very, very well. So, um, you know, so let's see. And your follow-up question: how are they able to sign when all other clubs are selling? KFC, K5C, a lot of clubs are signing, no? They are releasing the foreigners, but they've seen that the clubs are now, they're going to interswitch players, Indian players as well. East Bengal is in the market. Mohun Bagan theoretically is in the market. All other clubs are in the market. I think we'll see some action over the next 7 days before the transfer window, or next 6 days before the transfer window shuts in India. To be honest, the product they're giving, increasing ticket money, is non-starter. Blue, people don't want to pay at all, right? Be it tickets, be it streaming, be it this, be it that. If you ask people to pay, forget ISL, Indian football. Indian sporting fans are not like fans in Europe or North America who are willing to pay. We've discussed this multiple times over the last 2.5 years on this channel, where I always say that merchandising, for example, is a big failure in Indian sports, right? Which is a key component in sports around the world, right? So for me, the basics which are there around the world, and therefore, increasing anything at the moment is not a question at the moment. For example, One Football. Why has there been a success over the last, was it 3, 4 years that One Football has been showing the ISL globally? It's a big thing because for me, it's always been good that the league, the Indian league, is being made available around the world. People can watch it, people can view it because it adds, in my opinion, value. Right? It adds value. But again, it doesn't add value in the short or midterm. It adds value in the long term, right? So that is something which has been there, but yeah, it hasn't moved, and we are where we are. It is a very very interesting, very difficult phase for Indian football, and the question is now, how can you try and monetize things? At the moment, I think the conversation of monetization doesn't start, right? For monetization, you need to be able to make money. Where are you making the money in an Indian context, right? So therefore, for me, um, these things, interesting discussion points, interesting viewpoints, but so far away from the reality of where we're stuck at the moment, that nothing is going to happen, right? So at the moment, it is about survival. It is just plain survival at the moment for Indian football. The whole scenario is about plain survival, and it is not about trying to make money or not money. You know, we are in a situation where everyone is thinking, how can I reduce my costs? That's the whole situation of this of the league. That and Man United lead. Dorgu in the 50th minute. Arsenal 1, United 2. Suddenly, Man United lead at the Emirates. Who would have thought that? Arsenal taking the lead, and so wow. Okay, welcome to the craziness. Right. Sorry. We've had this. This season, non-payment of salaries can be an issue. Blue, it was an issue. Uh, and okay, there is VR involvement, it seems, or not. Let's see again. Zubamendi misses does it touch his hand? Let's see. I think it did touch the hand of Dorgu before taking his attempt. Brilliant shot on the crossbar and into the goal. No chance for the keeper. Let's see what VR says. Again, Arsenal 1, Man United 2. So, non-payment salaries has been an issue. Players have offered some players, clubs have offered some players to leave and say, listen, I'll pay you 1 or 2 months salary. You're free to go, tada bye bye. That's also happened. So therefore, some of these things are very, very interesting to see what's happening at the moment. And yeah, it is the way it is, as I say. And at the moment, it looks like, um, yeah, let's see what happens, so to say, down the road. I guess people want this league to see they play for free. Maybe that's the reason 80s uncles were so angry on FSTL. Very interesting point, Blue. Very, very interesting. Uh, you know, um, there is this habit, this tendency to say, you know what, why should I pay for something if I can get it for free? And yeah, and that's the problem that there is, if you ask me, that there is a mentality, be it in Kolkata or in Delhi and other places, and say, listen, guys, why should I pay for something which I can theoretically now or down the road can get for free? And yeah, that's the reality. So therefore, very interesting point that you're raising, and I totally agree with it. Was the transfer a free transfer? Utsav looks to me to be a free transfer, but you never know if a small transfer fee was paid for the twins. But again, maybe we will get to know it once Sporting Club Delhi announce the transfer, and they might mention that if they paid something or not. But at the moment, I think a lot of clubs are just trying to reduce the wage bills, getting rid of players, and if there's someone willing to take on those players, then they're willing to release the players and allowing the others to sign. Why owners are still invested in Indian football, then don't they realize it's a loss making model altogether? Listen, Indian football has been a loss making model for the last 100 plus years, right? So if that is your logic of, and listen, we need to make it profitable, we need to make it sustainable, Indian football is not your world, right? So that's for me a first reality. We need to recognize that a lot of things are happening, have happened, and I give a lot of credit to these owners, or especially through the senior CEO stuff, kept their owners on board to say, hey guys, you know what, don't shut down the teams, right? So therefore, from that perspective, yeah, that's something which is there, and but they all know it's been a loss making entity since day one. The losses have been there. Some of the clubs have pushed because the player pool has not grown. The losses have grown rather than getting less, and these realities are there. So for me, yeah, let's wait and see what happens in the coming weeks. But um, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if and how um, the ISIL can survive given the scenario, given the realities of things, and you know how they can, you know, move on. Right, 1 hour 27 minutes. Quick reminder: like, share, and subscribe. Um, Arun Foot, we have so far 11 likes on this video. I think we can do better, guys. Share with other people to join in our conversations. And of course, if you're not, you're listening, but you're liking, you can be live or you can watch it afterwards. Subscribe to the channel. We stand at 3,716 and watch the short videos, which I try and make on a daily basis. And yeah, support the channel. Without your support, Arun Foot cannot grow. And do follow my other socials as well. As Mohanbag Supergiant went to CAS, how much time will it take for them to hear the case? Any news? Blue, there needs to be a hearing date. They need to make legal appointments. I don't know how full CAS is at the moment. Um, Seems like they are always full with a lot of hearings. So therefore, from that standpoint, I would say, yeah, let's wait what happens. But to me, if they're going to get a hearing in March, April, that would be normal. If they can get it earlier in Feb, that would be a surprise to me. But again, it needs a little bit of you know um, so therefore, yeah, let's wait and see. Will you be surprised if Arsenal don't win the Premier League, or will you be more surprised if they win? I would be. Good question, Blue. What would I be? I mean, if I look at this match again, we're still Manchester United playing under an interim manager, right? And they've been not good, to be very nice to you. Uh, you know, um, Arsenal are doing a quadruple change. I mean, this is yeah, this a hink up here. I'm seeing, and if I'm seeing some of these guys, actually, I would always bet that City would win the league. If you ask me, I would always say Man City can win. Um, Even though they are also very very inconsistent and had bad patches this season, but I don't know. I don't. And Arsenal doesn't give me. I don't know this vibes of yeah they can be champions. Yes, I know. For example, Bayern. Um, to me, if they lose today, the questions will come in and yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait till April. They at Everton to bottle their chances. What's maybe the bottling starts today. I don't want to go to that extent, but again, they are the bottlers of not only Premier League but generally of football as well. And therefore, for me, if Arsenal don't win the Premier League, I would not be surprised if you ask me that way. And therefore, for me today, you know, again, we're still talking about Manchester United as the opponent, right? So therefore, for me, I wouldn't be surprised. And if you see the way that this match has gone on, United allowing Arsenal space, allowing Arsenal to play, Arsenal not able to utilize the chances or even creating really good chances, and United hitting them on the counter. And the first one was a mistake from Arsenal itself, and the second one was a good goal, a good creation from United. We're talking about basics, right? So therefore, and now Arteta making a quadruple change before the hour mark, which a double or a triple change is something which you do see. I don't know, double is quite normal, but a triple change. Um, so therefore, yeah, and if City now can pick up, City have had a very bad phase at the start of the year, and 3 draws, 1 loss, mm, dropping 9 points. Um, and just 4 points lead. They bottled 9 points 2, 3 seasons ago. Yeah, Blue, that's the whole situation. I wouldn't be surprised. And again, a quadruple change to me is a little bit of, I don't know, looks to me a little bit of desperation from the manager. That he wants to desperately change things because he's not happy at all with what he's seeing. And therefore, to me, you know, um, that's it. And if it stays this way, Arsenal on 50 points, plus 25 goals. City and Aston Villa on 46, and City with plus 26 goals. So they already would, but with this result, or if Man U win even bigger, would have a better goal difference than Arsenal. Villa plus 10. So therefore, that's it. And Man United would leapfrog to fourth, right? Um, Chelsea fifth, Liverpool sixth, Fulham seventh, Brentford, Newcastle, Sunderland on 33 points, eighth to 10th, Everton 11th with 32 points, Brighton and Hove Albion and Bournemouth with 30 points, and Tottenham and Crystal Palace 28, Leeds United on 25, Nottingham Forest on 25 as well after today's win. But West Ham, 2 wins in a row, suddenly on 20. Suddenly there's a relegation race. Burnley hasn't lost in 3 matches as well, but are on 15. Wolverhampton, of course, I guess are out with only 8 points. So therefore, there is a lot to play for in the Premier League. So therefore, it's not an easy thing. So I'm interested to see how these teams sort of square off and what they do and what they create. And so therefore, yeah, will be interesting to see what happens in the coming days and weeks. Man United fourth isn't good advertisement for your league. Blue. Again, Liverpool was fourth for quite a bit of time. So therefore that's a big problem and challenge for them. And yeah, it shows you again, a lot of leagues are struggling across Europe. A lot of spending, a lot of changes, a lot of money spent. But is the quality really increasing? That's my simple question with all of this, right? And um, yeah, look even City second with all the investments that they've made, and also with the bad patches that they've had, right? So therefore, it's insane, and that's football to you, to me, to us. That's where we stand at this moment in time. It's crazy to think, but as we see, yeah, Arsenal trying to go full throttle against United. United defensively standing in there. We're very interesting to see, right? So Boya Saka with the ball across, but Lamas has it sort of easily collected. Yeah, very interesting to see. Right. So that's the situation in Indian football, international football. Um, Interesting days, I guess, coming up for us, and to see. Um, let's see. There's some rumors that Arsenal is interested in Musiala Utsav. Musiala has signed a long-term contract at Bayern. Why would it even? Again, there are some rumors which are utterly useless. Again, if you use a little bit of thought process, um, Musiala will not leave Bayern for Arsenal. Sorry. I mean, Bayern are a much bigger club than Arsenal. It can never be, with all due respect. And I don't even need to think if it's a good fit. What's up? Right. So for me at the moment, given that Bayern actually, despite the injury to Musiala in the Club World Cup, have handed the player the number 10 jersey at Bayern, shows you the importance of the player to Bayern Munich, to the club, to the entity. And from that perspective, for them, it makes no sense to even to think, consider. Right. So therefore, I don't know whether this, yeah, but if that is that your source? AFTV is your source for rele- release clause and this and that, everything. That's your source, right? So if you go by these rumors, again, then for one season, just note down the rumors for all the clubs, all the top clubs. This guy's going to go there, that's guy going to there, this guy going to here, this guy going to there. No. Why? And my question to you would be, why would a Jamal Musiala want to? He's the highest paid player at Bayern. Why would you leave Bayern Munich to go to Arsenal? What does Arsenal have what Bayern don't have? And I would find no answer to it. Sorry, with all due respect to Arsenal Football Club. So therefore, it's not a point. It's not even a point of discussion. This is the same. That's what I'm saying. That there are a lot of rumors out there being put out there by a lot of people, and some of them are just being put out there for the sake of doing it. Right? It doesn't work for me. It does not work at all, and it makes no sense to have that conversation. Even again, as we had earlier about SAF, India leaving, not going to happen anytime soon. Right? And it, with all these complexities and understandings of what is real, what is a conversation, what is a rumor for the sake of a rumor, that's the thing, right? So with all that's happening in Indian or international football is, do you, do we understand what is, so therefore for me, yeah, those are some of the things. Good night, Blue. May AFF gets lucky. Well, Blue, it's a massive challenge, right? It's a massive challenge for the AFF. Good night to you. Um, where the journey of the All India Football Federation goes, but yeah, it's very interesting to see in the coming days and weeks, because it is, as I've said a few times, not an easy situation for Indian football, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. It's 25th of Jan, and so many loose ends with the ISL, and yeah, let's hope things get sorted and we move in the right direction. We're seeing now a few transfers. We're seeing Owen Coyle coming back. So all of that is theoretically good news, positive news. But are things happening the way that they need to happen? And yeah, let's see what happens. Right. If you don't have any other queries, once more reminder, like, share, and subscribe Arunfoot here on YouTube. As always, 12 likes so far. And watch the other videos. Support the channel, because without your support, I can't grow Arunfoot. Without Arunfoot growing, again, more people joining our discussion, which is good for Indian football. With that, I come to an end. I'll catch you tomorrow night with another live. See you then. Good night and all the best.